Hey y'all, thanks for checking out Euclid Mining. So today I thought I was going to beat the system. Well, the other day. And I had this grand plan for solar powered cell phone mining farm, right? The vision, it just hit me one day and it was almost, how could you not even think of it, right? So I decided to start buying some parts and started to Frankenstein this whole thing together. So I'm going to show you um, this image that I drew just so you can get a visual of what I'm talking about while we're doing this. So what I was going to do was I was going to get a solar panel. So I bought a solar panel. It's 11 by 11, said it was going to give me, well, at least 100 watts. And this was going to be perfect. If I'm running 4 cell phones that I have right now, and each one's pulling about 10 watts, it's only 40 watts. I'm more than fine with this one little panel. And I was going to put this in the window, and I was going to mine solar. Now, you'll say, okay, well, what about nighttime? You know, what's going to happen then? Well, here's how it was going to go. So I had all these wires. Now, I can't find a couple of them now that I'm trying to do this to show you, but I do have several of them. So anyway, for one, I have the wires that come off of the phones right here. These 2 wires come down to one USB, which is this wire here. It's got 2 USB-C and it's got 1 USB on the other end. So that would take care of powering 2 phones. Now I've got another wire, which now I can't find it, but and I bought 2 of those. So I'd have one for here and one for here. Now, what I would do was I had another wire that was a female on one end USB, and it went to 2 males on the other end, which meant that I could take this wire that I've got both phones plugged into with the USB-C in here, and I can plug it in here and have 2 USBs come out the other side. Now with those 2 USBs, stay with me, we're going down the rabbit hole here. With those 2 USBs would come out, it would come to here and have 2 USBs going out. One would go to the solar panel and one would go to one of these, little bricks that, you use for powering your phone, whatever it might be. And you'd have that in a power strip. Now, the power strip would have a timer at the end. You can see the timer, how similar I've drawn it. So you can see it. Let me pop some of these up. I showed this, I think, in my last video. But with this one, you could pop these up and you could set this to turn on and off at any point during the day and multiple times throughout the day. The idea there was that, let's say around, I don't know, 9 a.m., 10 a.m., this one side of my house gets sun in the morning, around noon, and in the afternoon. It has an amazing exposure, southern exposure. It gets sun constantly, so it's a perfect spot for a solar panel. And I was going to put this at the bottom of the window. Now, of course, I have an HOA, so I can't put giant solar panels in my window, but I could easily put this in the window and nobody would be the wiser. As a matter of fact, I am looking for a bigger one and more powerful, as we'll get to that in a little bit. But so I would have the timer turn off, let's say at 10 a.m., 9, 10 a.m. The solar panel is getting enough power and it's charging both of these 2 phones and these 2 phones by this one panel. It's 100 watts, no problem. I got 40 watts worth of power. I'm in business, and that would run through the day. Then at nighttime, when the sun started to go down, let's say right now, sunset is at like, I don't know, almost 7 o'clock. So let's say that at 4 o'clock, 4:30, 5 o'clock, when the sun's getting a little lower, it's not getting as much power, I could have the timer turn back on, and then the timer would just power the phones throughout the night. Now, of course, everybody talks about the battery bloating, so you don't want to have your phones on charging constantly. So you want to have them discharging and charging, discharging and charging. So with this particular timer, I could do that. Every hour on the hour, I can have it turn off for 30 minutes and then turn back on, for 30 minutes and then off for 30 minutes. And it could do that throughout the night, discharging and charging, discharging and charging. And then again, around 9 a.m. or so, whatever time my panels were getting good light, this would turn off the power strip. So there'd be no more power, and the only power would then come from the solar panels. So I know it looks confusing, but you get the idea that you have one phone split, comes down, one goes to the solar panel, one went to the power strip, and then one to the timer. And it all made sense in my head. I got to be honest. It all was like an epiphany. You know, why aren't we all doing this? Well, I had the solar panel hooked up, and I'm mining, and I'm seeing that the batteries are going down. They are not going up at all. So I disconnected two of the phones, and I thought, okay, 100 watts, 20 watts of power, no problem. Batteries are still going down. So I went down to one phone on this, and the battery still went down, though it went down very slowly when it did. It was charging, but for every 1% it went up, it went 1.5 or 2% down, let's say. So would that make it throughout the day from, let's say, 10 a.m. until 4 p.m. within 6 hours? Would it hold enough charge so the phone wouldn't die completely? And then when the power turned on at, say, 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock, like I was saying, 4 o'clock, that it would just charge it back up at that point, it would be okay. I don't know. But I don't want to have 4 of these in the window. Now, if I had one panel in my window along the bottom of it, it's a double window, so there's 2 windows side by side. They're standard windows, so what are they like? I don't know what the standard window is, 30, 36, 34, something like that, 32-inch width window. So what I'm looking to do is get something that's similar in the height of about 11, 12, 13, 14 inches, because that would be minimal to the distance, you know, wouldn't be noticeable. And if I had a long one, then I'd be fine with that, because if it was long across the bottom of the window, it wouldn't be that noticeable from the street. HOA probably wouldn't think of it much of anything and continue along their walks, because that's what they do here. They actually walk through the neighborhood with their notebook and they write down stuff. Anyway, they probably wouldn't give me any grief about that. So if you know of anything like that, a good solar panel that I could go to USB with, something that's truly 100 watts, I'm looking for it to be maybe like, you know, like I said, 12, 14 inches tall, but it could be 30 inches or 35 inches, you know, in width to get me what I need. I really don't want to put 4 of these. I could put 3 of these in a row and get the same effect as a long one. But this would only be good enough for 3 phones. I would have to go into the next window and put continuing on. And then we're talking a lot more wires and a lot more headache, and I'm really not interested. So this didn't work. I got this off eBay. If you go on eBay and you see these, they come with these controller boxes. You know, it's a whole little thing. Comes with a bunch of wires and stuff. On the back, it's got the 2 USB ports right there, so you can see that. It's got an extra wire here that you can plug. Where'd it go? You can plug this here into it. Comes with an assortment of different wires that you can use to plug into it. And anyway, didn't work. So if you've seen these on eBay, I'm not saying that all of them don't work. I'm saying that this one, I think it was actually rated for 300 watts. When I went back and looked at it, I could have sworn it said 300 watts, but most of them say they're about 100 watts. And well, it's definitely not doing it. The only thing I could think of is that the phone is pulling so much power from the mining software. If the phone was turned off, I'm positive this thing could power the phone. It could charge it. There's no question about it. Obviously, it does work. But as far as charging it while it's mining, it definitely can't keep up with it. Anyway, it didn't work. Hoped it would. If you're trying anything solar, I would love to know more about it. I thought I was going to beat the system. I definitely did not beat the system here. The system beat me. And I would still love to go in that direction, because if I can spend some money and get that done, I would love to do that. I could cut my electricity. Listen, if I'm only charging through half the night, because every 30 minutes I'm on, every 30 minutes I'm off, back and forth, I would only be doing 8 hours during the day, let's say, of solar. And then I've got 16 hours at night. And 8 of those technically would be off because it's on and off. So really, I'm only using power for 8 hours of the day, or should I say the night, technically. And that would be it. Now, I could go a little bit further and get one of those battery backups that have the plugs in them, or USB. As a matter of fact, I need to get one with a plug outlet, because then I could put the timer on it and have the same setup. The battery backup, I would plug this timer right into it, and then it would create the same thing if the panel was able to power these during the day and charge the battery backup that's plugged into this. So you're talking about quite a powerful solar panel. But if you were able to do that, you would use zero power from the wall, and that would be awesome. Now, I've seen these battery backups going for about $200. You know, when you start digging into it and you start investing that much money, we saw profitability in my last video where it's costing me 10 cents a day and I'm making 11 cents a day. So it would take me, forever to pay back a $200 battery, let alone like a $150 or $200 solar panel. So if you go into this for like $400, I mean, it's going to take you quite a while to recoup your money for this. I guess if you went completely solar or completely powerless from the wall, you would be getting the full 11 cents a day. So that's $3-ish a month. So you can, you can still get the idea that it would take you a long time to pay back $400 investment, not to mention the phones and all the wires and everything else that you got. So I don't know. It was a thought. It was a try. It didn't work out. I wish I could say it was successful and I was able to mine, so beautifully, but it didn't happen. So anyway, if you know of any great solar panels for the ones that I'm looking for, like I said, I'm looking for something with at least 100 watts of true 100-watt power, and also, or something that's more like 200 watts to really go over the top, because I would love to, like I talked about in my last video, trying to get around 10 phones as a starter farm, whereas I only have 4 right now. So I would like to get about 10 and then kind of build out from there. So anyway, it was a try. It was a fail. Not always rainbows and puppy dogs, but the reality is, that not all the time does it work. So anyway, love to see your comments down below. Love those thumbs up. I really do appreciate them. They help the channel so much, and it makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. So thumbs up, I appreciate that. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, the button's right over there. If you want to watch any of my other videos, I'm going to have one right up over there. I appreciate y'all checking in. See you next time.